Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to begin with our final panel discussion for the Affiliate Summit. And a wonderful topic indeed. It's on mobile marketing, the next big thing in the affiliate industry. Before we get started, I'd like to firstly invite on stage our session moderator. May I please invite Mr. Deven Dharamdasani, who's the co-founder of Seventynine. Can we have a warm round of applause? An industry leader whose entrepreneurial journey began at Quasar Media, and this was followed by Blazer Media, which were eventually acquired by the WPP group. Welcome, Deven. Joining Mr. Deven on the dais, I'd now like to invite our next speaker. May I please invite Mr. Avinash Gupta, CEO of Bookmycab, to please come on stage. With an experience that spans over a decade in the business analysis as well as IT project management as well as optimizing using operations research techniques, he currently is the CEO of Bookmycab. Our next speaker for the session, let's have a round of applause one more time. Please help me welcome Mr. Patrick Hearron, who's the Director of Global Sales Tune. And he was back with us during the opening session and he's here for the final session as well. Welcome back, Patrick. Our next speaker for the session is Mr. Manbir Singh, Country Manager, Cake India. Please help me welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Manbir on the dais. Previously, he's also held the role of team leader at Tyro SVG Media Private Limited, and currently is responsible for the entire marketing, business revenue, and client relations with complete focus on the rapidly growing Indian market. Our next speaker for the session is the head of performance business with Madhouse. May I please invite Ms. Akila Jayaraman on the stage. Well, Madhouse, which is the largest mobile marketing solutions company, and Akila is an avid mobile tech startup product evangelist, having spent a decade in the mobile domain. Our next speaker for the session is Mr. Viraj Singh, who's a co-founder and director of Affle. Let's have a round of applause to welcome Mr. Viraj as well. He started his career with Reliance Web World, and he's also developed expertise in account management field with special focus in South Asia as well as Southeast Asia markets. Moving on to our next speaker, may I please invite the founder and CEO of RationalHeads, Mr. Sandeep Mirakhur, on the stage. Can we have a round of applause for Mr. Sandeep, please? A veteran in the telecom domain who comes with more than 23 years of experience across the telecom as well as vast space. We'd also like to inform that our final speaker is Ms. Neeru Sharma, who's a co-founder and director of Infibeam, but I've been told that she'll be joining our panel members shortly. Well, this is a final panel discussion, so can we have an energetic round of applause from all the members of the audience? We love the sound of it. And with that, I'd like to hand over the proceedings to Mr. Deven. Over to you.
Hello. Yeah. I can see everyone is very tired now, and they all want to go home. And so, just to give you a brief idea about how we are divided there in the team. So, we have a very interesting panelist with us. Two people are from the analytics teams, which is Cake and Tune, which will give us very high insights on the mobile front. One lady from the GroupM ecosystem, which has large understanding on the mobile, how brands treat us, and how they feel about the affiliate ecosystem and the mobile ecosystem. Viraj is there, who will talk more about mobile, as he has been there from the mobile industry for quite a long time. And Bookmycab, Mr. Avinash Gupta, who has been, and Sandeep, who has been from the product side, they would be able to give us more insights about how brands believe on the mobile and how they have incubated, and what was their journey, what kind of a challenges the advertisers had seen in their product, and the opportunities there. Yep, so let's go ahead with the opportunities, what we will talk in the session. It is role of the mobile in the affiliate ecosystem. So I will request everyone to give a broader perspective, and then slowly we will take our discussions in detail. So over to you, Avinash.
Hello everybody. When we started Bookmycab in 2012, we started with on-call service. And then slowly we recognized there is a demand coming from, we had website, and then we recognized a lot of demands are coming from the mobile websites. So we thought there must be something specific, ad should be served on the mobile, because the ads which we were preparing for the web was not coming well on the mobile device, and it was 2012 late and 2013. So still that time app ecosystem was under development. It was evolving. So we started with optimizing the performance of the ad. We were targeting the mobile users that time, and then we recognized that engagement was not happening in a very proper and efficient manner. Then we introduced our app in late 2013. And that time, what we did, we were able to recognize from which device the user is coming. After once app is being installed on the device, we were able to recognize the user profile, how user activity happening on the app. So it is very important that time, it was very important in that time that to understand the user behavior and accordingly serve them. And then lately we introduced many features in the mobile app, and that was the main fundamental, you can say, strength for any product company to have inside in that app inbuilt. Otherwise, you lose the user. If let's say you are not able to serve the user as per the requirement of the user, then user uninstall the app. So that uninstallation activity also you need to understand properly. And lately we recognize once user install, then what he is doing after installation. So many times he is searching for the cab. If cab is not there, whether you are able to serve proper message or not. So those small things was very critical for the business like us, which was still evolving the app ecosystem.
Welcome, Neeru. Please have a seat here. Yeah, sorry, Avinash, go ahead.
And that time we were not heard of the affiliate marketing. Okay, and even so few months ago also, affiliate marketing we were not using. So now we have created a small team inside Bookmycab which is working on affiliate marketing, and these teams are from the day one equipped with, they are trained for the mobile ecosystem. So everything that they are designing or developing, so they have the mobile ecosystem from day one in their mindset that whatever they are developing, that must be there in the mobile. Because we have recognized 50% of the mobile, the traffic which is coming from the web was from the mobile. So engagement and then performance, everything can be tracked properly if it is developed properly inside the app.
So Avinash, you are saying that now Viraj should contact you and start getting the affiliate industry business opportunity with you.
So one thing what I was asking the question to Viraj when we met just 1 hour before. Yeah. So right now, what is the business model for affiliate?
So Viraj, he is about to leak the business model.
Okay. So we found there is just one business model which is like stable, that is CPI based. So what about after app is installed? So is affiliate being paid for post-installation activity like upgrading the app or referral or any sales which is happening? No, I think. So what I got to know that it is a future.
So the future sits here. So let's have Manbir point of view as well, that how he thinks about the role of mobile in the affiliate ecosystem.
Thanks Deven. And hi everyone. Thank you, IAMAI. Thank you, IAMAI, for organizing this. So yeah, we are Cake. Apart from the fancy name, we are the best-in-class multi-channel attribution product. We provide you with the technology that helps cover all the entire ecosystem. That is advertisers, affiliates, and ad networks. So we cover up all the channels in the market. And best thing about it, we have got a lot of opportunities, and yeah, we have got a lot of expectation as well. So we have our team working on creating the robust technology to serve the entire global markets for their needs. Specifically, I'm focusing on the Indian market, which is rapidly growing in the affiliate industry and the ad network industry, with people focusing on mobile apps, going hyper local. We are matching the expectation by creating the technology well in advance for all the app developers. So yeah, we're doing a decent job, and I hope we'll have a good market in India very soon. Thanks.
Thank you. Neeru, your view on the role of mobile and the affiliate ecosystem.
Okay, so hi, I'm sorry I'm late. So I didn't know the question, what to talk about. Thanks for pointing that out. So I'm Neeru, I'm a co-founder with Infibeam, and I'm looking after all of business development at Infibeam. Now, what's my take on mobile? Yes, it is meant to grow. Yes, it is meant to stay. Yes, it is the most important media. I mean, just going by some numbers, if we have 1.2 billion people in India, I think 72% of what web traffic is generating is actually landing up on a mobile. So that shows the numbers. So out of 243 million active internet users, 200 million of them are actually using it on a mobile. So that shows the value of this media. And this is only meant to grow. This is only meant to grow north. And so at Infibeam, we are a B2C e-commerce portal, but we also run a Build a Bazaar kind of interface where we power other retailers and merchants and brands to set up their own shops. What has happened in the last 2 years is that any new merchant or brand that I'm signing up for Build a Bazaar, they are actively wanting a mobile app to be developed vis-a-vis the web interface. In fact, to the extent that there are a number of them who are only looking at a mobile app to launch, and they're not so keen on the PC and the web share traffic. Going by some global numbers, I mean, the PC share, which happens to be at a 62% right now in terms of overall global web traffic. But if we look at the growth rate year on year, it is going down by a couple percentage points. Whereas if you look at the mobile, it is 28% of global web share, but it is growing up by a 40% year on year. So I think there's no debate, and this is a very important channel, and I just look forward to a fruitful discussion here.
And Neeru, what's your view on the affiliate ecosystem?
I think affiliates are playing a bigger role each and every passing day, and I think the role is only going to grow. We are signing up, in fact, with new partnership models in affiliates, and the kind of innovation they are bringing into this space is actually commendable. It's going hand in hand with the way e-commerce is shaping up.
Thank you very much. Akila, for you.
Thanks. So I'm very happy Neeru covered a lot of statistics around mobile, because as Madhouse and part of the GroupM ecosystem, what we actively work with brands and clients is to tell them how mobile thinking has to move from mobile first to mobile most. And in that, a lot of things that we talk about is that we no longer need to establish why mobile. We actually now need to establish how mobile. And that's really where, you know, the affiliate ecosystem and the other partners that we work with have to play a bigger role. And that's really what I think we should, you know, bring to the fore now, because why mobile is pretty much established.
Hi, I'm Viraj from Affle. Affle is positioned as a mobile audience as a service platform, with the key proposition being build, promote, and monetize. When I say build, I mean we actually build out mobile applications, mobile sites, enabling a lot of developers, helping them make the first steps on mobile. Once the app's gone live, the next step that we do is promote, help them with their user acquisition strategies. And that's where we work with, we have a lot of traffic from DSP channels, from our own sources, but that's where we also use a lot of affiliate networks to drive installs. And lastly, we do monetization. Once the app's built, the app has users, how does a developer make money? We help them make money by putting ads in their applications, so that becomes a revenue source for them as well.
And in between that, you also make money.
That's the idea.
Just kidding. Sorry, Pat.
I think this is a very interesting question. I'm with Tune. So for you that don't know or weren't here earlier this morning, we have two products. We have a white label performance tracking, affiliate tracking software that you can use by networks. And then we also have a tool and SDK for app owners. Goes into the app, tells them pretty much everything they need to know from where their installs are coming from, why their app is where it's at in the App Store, covers the entire ground. Mobile and performance, for us, it's hard to separate it. Really, when we started the company 6 years ago, it was for desktop performance tracking software. About 2 years in, we had a client come to us, Zynga, a large gaming client, said they were having trouble tracking on mobile and needed somebody to help kind of figure it out for them. At that point, we made a strategic decision as a company to spend our times and efforts into continuing to build out our mobile-specific offering. And I would say for us today in the ecosystem, 80 to 90% of our traffic that we track on the application is all mobile-focused. So it's not, is it important? From what we see, it's the most important, and for people that aren't currently spending time and effort into it, they're going to be left behind. We have a saying that we don't really share, but we see pretty much the death of the pixel, right? The pixel's going to die. You got to figure out a way to track beyond that, and there's tools out there that can help you do it.
Thank you.
So I have a contrary point of view, slightly different. Like Neeru said, 243 million internet users, 200 million mobile users, and 43 is the extra, right? If you dedupe it, and people who have mobile internet and also have landline internet, you'll be only left with a couple of million people who have only desktop internet. So everybody has mobile internet. The game currently is who has how many app installs on a phone. So everybody's playing the game of app installs, right? Whether it's an e-commerce site or it's a taxi site, whoever. But nobody really knows that there's a certain amount of storage available on a phone. Yeah. And people optimize their phones. And then, of course, there are other apps which tell you this app is eating so much of space, and this app is eating so much of space, and this is reopening, so delete them. So the game would not be anymore about whether your app is available on the phone or not. The game will be whether your business is available on mobile or not.
I agree with you, but just to give you... Okay, complete then. No, please.
So I'll give you an example. Our company, which is the Earn Talk Time app, we are integrating many businesses into our own app. I just met somebody 10 minutes back, and we suddenly had their entire business inside our app in a 10-minute conversation. What happens is if you have huge users, right, and somebody wants to start a business and have views, right, to his site, they can simply integrate into the other site. So if, for example, you had come to me and said, Mr. X has a business, right, and he wants users, and you have millions of users, can you allow an app-in-app, or let's say a iframe inside your app, and get the guy to start using the other guy's website?
Cross-selling traffic, what you mean?
No, it's not about cross-selling traffic. It's more of a widget model, right? So, because if, most of the apps I see there's no app less than 3 or 4 MB, 5 MB. And then there are apps which are 20 MBs. And there are apps which are 50 MBs, which your child would not let you delete. Right? So you could have 10 apps and one single app which you can't delete because your child won't let you delete. So you'll delete the apps that you use. Maybe if you need, let's say, a Flipkart, you'll download it, shop, and then delete it again, right? But a Candy Crush or a Subway Surfer, you won't delete because your child will kill you. So the whole model will go into a widget model where apps which are there will allow you to access other sites. And that's where the affiliates have to come in. They have to work with the brands and tell them that your model of CPI is not the only model. You will have uninstalls. If you want to grow your business, you got to piggyback on somebody else's business, right? So let's say this guy who just met me, he wanted his website in an iframe on our site, on our app, right? We did a deal in 5 minutes. For him, he's not wasting his money on CPI because the CPI will lead to uninstalls and he'll waste his money. And this is performance marketing because our website will give him views and he'll give me money, right? The wastage isn't there. I did a deal directly with him. However, that's where the affiliates come in. So those new business models of how do I think for my customer? Because if that guy was told by you that forget the installs business, what's your business? You want views, you want more users? I'll get you more users without any cost or a cost per visit, right? That's the model we would like the affiliates to do.
So you are suggesting that the marketers has to move from a CPI business model to more intelligent cost per visit models which should give more enhancement to the...
I'll tell you, let's say Bookmycab. If he goes for a CPI model and I tell this to all the app companies, not the big ones because they spend a lot of money, which is good. But I'm by no means saying you're small.
Which is good for you as well, because you are also
I
in
said
the
it's
industry.
good. So we are right now, this is a hammam and we are all here together, right? So we don't have the clients. Some of the clients are there, right? A company like Bookmycab, I'm by no means saying you're small, right? Must be a decent size. If you go and spend a couple of crores on installs, right? Everybody will make money, right? You will sell your equity to a VC for raising that couple of crores, and all the VC money will be burped by all of us together. Pretty cool, right? But if you come to us and say, hey, I want all your users to have a Bookmycab access. You don't sell your equity to VCs, right? So, and you get lots of users. When you get lots of users, your same 5% share will be worth much more. So those business models are models that affiliates need to work with the clients, because all publishers are not always meeting the clients. And we believe that when affiliates don't work up with those models is when we have to go to the clients and tell them about the models. Because being from the telecom background, most of our employees are from the telecom background, and we've seen over the last 20 years of this business in India, you know, just the transaction model won't work. I mean, it's a bad example, but I'll give you the value-added service example. The vast example is, you know, I don't know how many of you have been in telecom, right? The vast business was Chepdo, which is like, just deduct the balance, give him some SMS, give him something, right? Now that's the model that I'm seeing the industry going towards. You know, the moment this happens, all the big businesses, right, will start looking at us very differently. Because someday, the shit will hit the roof, right? And the VCs will say, I want to know every penny that you're spending.
Like in a web, it happens, correct? Typically in the web business, this has already been there, that it started with a brand and then it moved to a cost per sale, and now they don't know what to do next. So sorry, so that's you want to say something.
Yeah, no, I'm just responding to Sandeep saying that having worked very closely with lots of clients, I don't think that the clients are of course demanding much more than CPI, right? I mean, and they're not just looking at it from install point of view. So they are looking at more metrics. They're not looking at just users, because even CPI brings you users. So CPI brings you users, not for how long is debatable, but CPI also brings you users. Yeah. But I think the metrics is what is evolving, and what we need to do collectively as an ecosystem is to evolve along with the metrics.
Yeah, I'll give you an example. You know, there was this company which is doing a media event, right? And saying, we are launching this app which is good for wildlife. Right. And they had a press release, they had a press conference, and we get a call at 5 in the evening. We need 20,000 downloads by midnight. Why? Because 2 days later, they want to tell the world, hey, everybody's so impressed, see our rating, we are the topmost new trending app. Waste of money. You know, as long as the VC money is there, we are making money. All of us are making money. But is this a sustainable business model? Let me assure you guys, whatever your company does, you don't have the PE multiples the way other companies have. Affiliates don't have that PE multiple. Highly profitable business, no PE multiple. Very, very little, right? Why is this? Because people who invest want to see a long-term thing in it, right? They say you make cash, keep cash, right? That's good for you. Will they give you the same multiples as they'll give, let's say, a different company? They don't, because we haven't as an industry moved towards a model where we tell potential investors we are working towards business model which is long-term and sustainable.
But I think one of the interesting points would be
And
that
I'm sorry, I'm criticizing my own industry, right? But if we don't criticize ourselves, we won't find a way out.
so one of the interesting way of looking at it is that look at the way web grown. The web was started in 2000. It took time to pick it up. It took from 2005 to 2010. It was more of CPM, CPC business. But how mobile came, and suddenly with the mobile journey, it was immediately cost per install, the performance business. No one thought about building a brand side of an ecosystem, which is where what Akila just said, that brands are still looking for it. It is just that it is so lucrative for us to get the performance business that we tweak the business so easily and say, wow, let's go for the mobile, let's go for the performance, get the revenues, get the VC monies, and thank you very much for the. But in this whole chain, we are actually giving a lot of opportunity and killing ourselves from a longevity perspective of doing performance and not getting into brand businesses, which is, I think, is a very important need of today's scenario.
Well, Deven, just to add on to your longevity perspective and cleaning the shit out of the way. So that's when technology providers are coming on, right? We have now the technology to go beyond the CPI model of app installs, right? We are providing the solution for CPT or a CPS, make you land with a deep integration, make you land on the page the user wants to go, right? And having all of that, the individual affiliates even don't have to invest on building the SDK and all. If you are getting a SDK less than a 20 KB, so that's not much of a burden to the advertiser, and you're actually helping out advertisers to monetize his money the right way. So there are matrices beyond CPI. There are goals, there are events that advertisers are looking at, and the agencies are prospecting to the advertisers. So yeah, there are solutions around it to have a long-term relationship with the advertiser.
I agree with you, Manbir, I agree with you. For sure, we are looking for that money to come in. Anyway, so coming towards another opportunity, which is how the affiliates are going to help the ecosystem and what kind of an opportunity they can create for the marketers. So I think, Viraj, would you like to take that on, because you are the closest to this business?
Yeah, I think it has to go sort of both ways. There is opportunity, in terms of technology, what is happening is that you could show, say, a Flipkart shows an ad of a shoe on a certain site, and but Flipkart has enabled deep linking, so if a user does decide to purchase that shoe, he goes straight to the page and on Flipkart within the app and purchases the shoe. It does not sort of happen across all apps, right? All the deep linking, a lot of the technology tracking is still not in place. So till that does not happen, I think mobile will still sort of, you can still take a user to a mobile site and complete the sale, but completing the sale also has sort of issues there. So till that technology, I think is, as I think when we just pointed out, technology is catching up, technology is there, but it's sort of implemented through and through, right from the affiliate to the app advertisers. Within the advertisers is the deep linking, postbacks, what kind of postbacks to the couponing sites, you know, all that web ecosystem which is there. Till that sort of doesn't flow, I think you will see a lag. I think those gaps are being filled right now, but some of the big guys are filling those gaps, but a lot of the small guys are still lagging behind there.
Neeru, what would you like to say about, because you are coming from the Infibeam background, so how do you see the affiliate opportunities?
See, I think as Viraj rightly pointed out that yes, if there is a deep linking mechanism to track a transaction right from a click on an affiliate portal to the end point where the transaction is actually completed, and this is without any intrusive experience to the customer. For the customer, it has to be seamless, because I think with the mobile apps, we are seeing this new kind of user interfaces where there is a single page checkout. There is very little information that you need to fill in over and over again. There is all these payment motivators like CyberSource and others who enable you to actually just use the CVV number at the end, and then all the other information is absolutely safe and secure. I think all these are technological innovations that we are doing on the mobile app part. But then the deep linking from an affiliate to the end of the transaction is what would enable and give us the comfort of actually spending more and more on the affiliate.
But then you will ask for a cost per sale opportunity.
So that's a trick of the trade. Yeah, but I think as Sandeep earlier pointed out, I would slightly debate that in case I have a phone and there is a brand to which I am loyal, right? There is a portal to which I am loyal. I know that they've always fulfilled my expectations to the best, delivered stuff on time, etc., etc. I would like that app to stay. I mean, then the innovation would lie on how small the size of the app could be, right? How easy and quick would be the upload time of the app and the search options and all of that. I think if that is the case, and if I am a regular shopper, then I would want that app to stay, and I wouldn't just want an aggregator, because there is a lot of brand loyalty I have towards the app, which I might not necessarily have towards an affiliate, which is an aggregator, right?
Agreed. Sandeep.
That, your loyalty towards the brand has nothing to do with the mobile app. Because they do everything right is why you're loyal. Like I said, because Candy Crush is so loved by kids, they won't let you delete it, right? Because it's not because of, when there are more and more companies coming with more and more apps, how will you give them space on the phone? The only way to give them space is when you collaborate with other apps and give a user an experience of the same product without a separate app. For example, let's say our browsers, internet browsers, you don't have separate browser for every e-tailing company. You have a same browser, you go type the URL and you go to their site. If there were separate browsers, imagine if there was separate browser you had to download for every single internet address, what would happen? The democratization of internet happened because it was a single sign-in or in an internet browser, and you go to wherever. That, with the new companies, and India being a startup nation, like our Prime Minister says, the smaller companies will die even before they see the day of light, because they won't have money to have users. This business is about how much money can you pump in, how many sampling you can do. So the big boys can spend hundreds of millions of dollars, and a small guy who's got great business can't even spend $1 million to get more users.
See, I think, Sandeep, this is another debate. I mean, we are getting into another debate. So I wouldn't want to answer that.
I was saying that's what the affiliates need to do.
But
That's what the affiliates need to do. Get those business models
My
around.
point is, affiliate is not the end fulfiller of the product that I ordered. So there is a lot of loyalty that I might have towards the brand, because of which the point is that I might not want to install the app for every order that I place. I would want the app to be there. And when I say loyalty and customer satisfaction and brand loyalty, I will not be brand loyal to 50 apps. I will be brand loyal to a few. Otherwise, I'm not loyal, right?
Yeah, but
I'm
then the
just
affiliates don't
shopping
make
around.
money, no? If you don't have 50 different, same guy using 50 different services, the affiliates won't make money. They will make money on your one install.
So I
everybody needs to
think
make
then
money.
we are getting into a different monetization debate, that how do you make it more monetizable?
So I think
Patrick just wanted to have
I think I might have I agree with 90% of the conversation. I think there's still great opportunity for savvy marketers and affiliates. I think you're correct. Your branding needs to be on point for what you're advertising. That means you should be targeting the correct consumer, right? What kind of device are they on? What kind of operating system? What the operating system version is? Where are they located? You need to have some kind of savvy tool in place. This is my sales pitch. To market to the correct person, right? Because what happens is, we were talking about this before this session started, like we were talking about the immersion of video and all these other things. If that targeted ad isn't relevant for my interests, for where I'm located, for the actual phone that I'm on, I agree, it's a waste of money. People are throwing money out the window. They're never going to get the right, revenue standpoint. However, if the ad's targeted, if it's correct for the type of phone I'm on, it's correct, it's a cross promotion, meaning it's an app that's very similar that I already have on the phone, there's absolutely an opportunity, and then that's money well spent. But the 10% is, I think it's great, and I absolutely would love every single advertiser within an app to advertise a third-party app, right? Cross-promotion is fantastic. It's a really great audience segmentation. A lot of advertisers don't want to do that. Their clients are their clients, and they're not going to share that information with third parties or someone that's not even their competitor, but could there be their competitor, 3 days from now, 5 days from now, like whatever.
Akila, do you want to address this?
No, so absolutely. So I agree with Patrick, and slightly Sandeep is getting a lot of disagreement from the panel for sure. So yes, that you're not going to survive on just having app downloads. We've already established that, saying that there has to be far more metrics that we're looking at to create a longer engagement with the consumer. And from our perspective, what we are seeing is that there are clearly 1 or 2 leaders per category of brands, right? I mean, in each category, people are redefining the category itself, and hence they tend to remain as the app on the phone, the preferred app on the phone. So we're not saying that we have to go and promote more apps. The second thing is, a lot of clients we talk to, we also critically evaluate whether app is something that they really need to have, right? That's also a discussion. You may not necessarily, so from our perspective, install is not what it is, but when the guy needs what he needs, is he thinking of you as the first? And he could be reinstalling your app and doing the transaction or doing the order or doing the purchase, etc. So when you look at it from that perspective, you're looking at it from a long-term value of the consumer and not just app. So app is not equal to consumer for us.
Avinash, do you want to address this?
So what Akila said is...
Even you agree there?
Yeah, so I agree most of the parts there. So when you start, so let's stick to the mobile marketing and how does it is going to help to affiliate. Okay, so for affiliate, it is very important that whatever user they are acquiring for any brand or for any app. So app install is one thing, okay. But when somebody is thinking for some requirement, let's say cab, okay, and we are seeing that Bookmycab app is installed by the same user, and then maybe in 15 days, 20 days, we are doing some analysis and where we found that same user, there are few uninstalls over a period of time, let's say 2-3 months, there are few uninstall and install on the same device. Okay, so maybe it is the resource on the mobile device which is restricting that I can have only n number of app. Okay, so many times it may happen that I may be thinking of some requirement, let's say thinking of some phone. So iPhone is launched, I think going to be launched, iPhone 6s. Okay, in Infibeam, there was some full page ad 3-4 days back. Okay, so let's say when I think of iPhone 6s, okay, so even if I don't have Infibeam app, so for buying iPhone 6s, I am going to install Infibeam app, I will buy, and if I don't require, I may uninstall. But yeah, if I think of some requirement and even if the app is not there, I can install, fulfill my requirement, and then may uninstall. So it doesn't mean that I'm not loyal to that particular thing. And what Patrick said that, category leader, etc. So it is also, so every category there is some leader. Okay, and many times as an app developer, you redefine some category. Okay, so when you redefine category, so in that case, if you are market leader, your app may find place. But for, let's say, that market leader sometime may not able to fulfill your requirement. It happens. So I'm not claiming that Bookmycab is #1 cab operator. We are very local in Mumbai. We are one of the top 3 in Mumbai. So my app may not be available on everybody's mobile phone. But what happens, let's say somebody is looking for cab. Search it on Uber. Uber is giving 5x, 2x, 3x surge. Okay. Then they think of Bookmycab, they download, and they know that it is available on Meter. So they fulfill the requirement, and if it is not required, they uninstall the app.
Neeru, at least I can make one thing very clear, that your that Infibeam ad is there and you have made your money back.
Okay, so Deven, I'll just like to sum up many points here. for the advertisers and for Sandeep's point for helping out and safeguarding affiliates, right? So Sandeep mentioned that there are a lot of VC money coming in, and the folks who have a lot of money, they're spending more, right? How do affiliates enable, like the advertisers will spend the amount of budget they have, right? But how affiliates spend it right way, how ad networks spend it right way? It's about optimizing the campaign, right? So now we have got players in the market or publishers in the market who can do a state level targeting, who can do a gender level targeting. And as my friend mentioned during his sales pitch, that we can do a lot more targeting on OS and Android version. So for guys like Bookmycab, who are hyper local, they're looking for something like targeting Avinash, who's from Mumbai, who's using a Samsung Galaxy X5 phone, whose Android version is supporting Bookmycab's app that is 4.5, and then at the end of the day, he's in Mumbai because it's a hyper local app. So for this, affiliate needs to build that technology in his place, or else nowadays the third-party providers are so advanced and so economical that both as advertisers, agencies, and as affiliates, all of them can actually optimize the similar campaign and save a lot more money for the advertisers and create actual users for the app by targeting into a Mumbai or targeting into a Connaught Place or a Saket in Delhi. So that's what is that is something that would help out affiliates get more business. Agencies get a better mark on providing the best quality of traffic and having a good digital campaign, and at the end of the day save a lot of money to the advertisers with the right targeting in place.
So Manbir, I think you have forgotten your days when you were in ex-Tyro and you used to buy your media, and then some brand comes to you and says, do the hyper-local targeting, and then you would say, oh God, from where I will get the inventory?
Well, it's all about, it's all about knowing my current company. It's all about knowing my current company at the right time, and knowing for the robust technology they provide. And that has actually, even if their publishers who are claiming to be hyper local and to be of Delhi based, I want to target, even Delhi is a vast area, so I don't want to target from Badarpur, right? So that's when I can actually go back to the advertisers of my Tyro days and pitch them about cake and make them realize the money.
And get more money.
Exactly.
Okay. So I think, Manbir, you have just addressed our next question, which was more about what are the business models an affiliate ecosystem can provide. So one is what you just spoke about, the geolocation and the other stuff. How do you see, you and Patrick, how do you see an affiliates should go and get more of a brand money which these two ladies are holding here?
I think it was kind of brought up already. I think the cost per install isn't, it's the way the market is currently, but it's not the best way to have things, right? It's about the actual consumer that's using the app and spending money. So what we've specifically seen is that people have kind of, if you look at internationally, some other markets, 3-4 years ago, every single app advertiser out there was just looking for traffic sources. So you would come and say, oh, I have traffic for you, would you be interested in testing it out? And all those advertisers would say, yes, here's money, run, see if you can get me some users, let's see how it goes. And they would just give you money, you could test the traffic sources. What's happened now is they've kind of cut up. They figured out just because somebody's installing the app doesn't mean they're using the app, doesn't mean they're not deleting it at some point, doesn't mean they're not going to open it one time and never look at it again. So now we see basically cost per sales. There's something to purchase. We see in-app purchases. We also see the payout not just being at the cost per install basis. Sometimes it's a time variance. So I'm not going to pay you for the install, but if this consumer's still in our app, a month from now, 6 months from now, I'm going to pay you a lot more. It takes a more seasoned affiliate or agency or ad network to be able to delay payment for 3 months to whatever time period. But ultimately, I think the advertisers understand that the install itself isn't that good anymore. It needs to be something that's going to bring back the consumer to the app to hopefully make purchases, make money, share the audience or whatever it is in the long term.
So Patrick, you are saying that affiliates should give such kind of an audience which can sustain in the business and give more revenues to the app developer, and then they can give back to the affiliates.
Correct, yeah.
Some kind of a rev
No,
share.
no, absolutely. It's not about just getting someone to install it. It's getting the right person to install it that's going to be loyal or around for a while, and that is going to turn into some kind of monetization channel for the advertiser. Sometimes it's a direct purchase. Sometimes it's just having that audience there and being able to promote some other item, some other app, some other purchase item, later on. So that's the thing, is some apps aren't just the source of revenue. Instead, that app itself becomes an affiliate and is targeting a wider audience and using the consumers that are on there to advertise third-party apps as well.
Sandeep.
So I think like Tapjoy is a good example of this. Someone that has audience and is an app and also advertising other apps.
So I'm back after a long time. Okay, so I love disagreements. Thank you. And I'll now talk in favor of why the CPI model should coexist along with all other models. The moment we start thinking CPI as a distribution channel, the moment we see CPI as a distribution, a sales distribution channel, the matrices seen by companies are very different. When you look at it as an advertising and marketing channels spend, your matrices are very different. The moment you guys go to the various brands and talk to them, don't consider this a distribution model. Because the moment you see it as distribution, वो कहेगा 50 रुपए में एक install, I have 30 or 40% people who remain, so my cost per install is 150, right? The moment it's sold like this, people will not buy it in long term. The moment it's sold as a brand building, because before an install you see a banner, right? There is a top of mind recall, because if you see banners more often, even if you don't get so many downloads, it's a marketing spend. You're showing a banner ad, right? Or whatever. So that's the model we need to work upon. So how we are selling it to brands has to change slightly. Yeah, we all know when brands spend a lot of money, they have higher ratings on the app stores and they get a lot of organic installs. That's all what we tell them currently, right? We all tell them that, right? But what we need to tell them is, hey, if you're a brand and you want more people, because when you see a brand, they have marketing scores of top of mind brand of a category, right? Sell it like that. That's how we will sell. So innovative ways of telling brands of what the whole ecosystem is doing, rather than just talking to a guy saying, give me an install cost, I'll give you 2 rupees less than the other guy, and this is my bidding. That's where brands won't mind paying us more if they know the guy has the skin in the game. And we've worked with many brands directly, where once they see we have the skin in the game, and they know that we're going to earn much less, then they start trusting us more.
I agree.
Well, I also agree, Sandeep. I completely agree with your point, which banner is working best for them or which channel is working best for them. So I seriously feel that currently, if we talk about ad networks or affiliate channels, they are actually catering to those brands or small brands or maybe even big brands which are catered by the agencies. They tell them that you have to do a Google AdWords spend, or you have to do a SEO spend, or you have to just stick to the affiliate channel. So, but what the advertisers are not being made aware of is the contribution of each channel to the end user acquisition, right? So that's where a cross-channel tracking system should come into place, which talks about I as a user came on and saw Infibeam ad on a Google Display banner on any website or any blog that I am reading. I clicked on it, I landed up to the website or a app site, I didn't install it. And then I landed up, I did searches for the same category on Google. I used AdWords, I saw Infibeam, I didn't convert then. But then I went on to a affiliate and I asked him to, just run a CPI campaign for me, and I acquired a user. So what the advertisers need to understand is a Google ad spend that they did, or a SEO that they did, or a YouTube video that they're broadcasting. They need to connect the dots in the system, right? And that's where cross-channel tracking is in place, and we are helping advertisers to actually map those dots and calculate the right attribution or the right cost of user acquisition.
So Deven, it's the insider speaking.
So, Viraj, would you like to add on?
No, I was just saying that we all agree that right now it's all on CPI, right? Most of that's the business model that's working right now. I think it's going to possibly go in two directions. One, you'll always find the e-commerce sites wanting to do a cost per sale sort of a deal, and I think to some extent it will go in that direction. What we're also seeing, and we've done a couple of campaigns, is where brands want to know exactly as what you were saying. They want to know exactly where the banners are placed, who's seeing those banners, all right? And they're willing to pay CPM, CPCs for a cost per install campaign. These are advertisers who we work with in India. We ran a campaign for them in India. It was done on CPI with no targeting, nothing, one of those nice campaigns you do. And when we got the brief from the US, it was run on CPM. They were serving the banners exactly. They knew exactly what the audience was. The cost per install was obviously 4.5, 5 times the cost that we got from India, but they didn't care. So I think that's where the advertiser education, a little bit of communication has to happen in terms of if you really care about where the install is coming from, you have to show a banner how the whole DSP thing works. There's a banner you have to show, you have to pay as CPM to CPC, this is the conversion, then you are going to get an install, which is classical marketing, right? So I think that's where it could go. One could be the CPC, CPM, which is what we were doing 3 to 4 years back. And obviously there'll always be brands where you are doing a cost per sale sort of a deal.
So one of the interesting things what we at Seventynine, although I'm a moderator, but I'm just taking an opportunity. So we at Seventynine takes video as a product to the marketers, wherein we say that, hey guys, CPI is one set of the business which is more of a performance-led transaction. That's what you are evaluating on. But video as the business wherein you should talk about an engagement the way you see the TV. And suddenly we have seen that, and because we have a product and the SDK integration and everything, brands are taking us seriously, and they are actually looking for such kind of an opportunities wherein they talk, and due to the help of the cakes and the tunes, wherein they can measure the analytics of video measurements and the other stuff. They are very sincere about video. Yes, I agree that they don't invest much of money the way they do in the performance business, but I think one of the affiliate opportunities which is video as a platform, or native video as a platform, which we all have to create together. So going towards, anyone wants to, Avinash, do you want to add anything on this? Or should we move ahead? So what are the latest mobile marketing strategies? So both the ladies work every day on the latest mobile marketing strategies. So what would you like to say on this concept on the mobile ecosystem front?
Okay, so coming from the e-commerce fraternity, I would say that as my all these people have pointed out, the panelists, the geo-targeting, I think, is going to be a very latest and very widely used concept. And the reason I say that is, at least from the e-commerce world, I know that the pricing of the product, the delivery of the products, a lot of these features are actually which are operational in nature and which are location dependent. So why do I want to actually convey a 3-day kind of delivery to a guy who is placed an order from Delhi while I'm shipping it from Delhi? Right. So in case I want to do a pitch which is a same-day delivery, can I do it to the users who are actually searching it from a Delhi, Gurgaon, Noida kind of base? So in that context, I think geo-targeting is going to play the latest big role for us. In fact, to the extent that there are a number of white goods which are predominantly in e-commerce, we see there's huge shipping costs that we have to incur. Now in those if the shipping cost is actually a driver of the final offer price, why don't I show a differential price to a guy who is purchasing it from a very local person, right? So the differential pricing also comes into play when we talk about geo-targeting. And we are seeing all this phenomena, and we are doing all sorts of different kinds of campaigns we are trying our hands on, and we are piloting to see what kind of successes are we able to achieve. But since this is not something I can only portray on my site, we are heavily dependent on affiliates to actually bring that kind of information and knowledge and data to us, so we can bank on it and make it a business case.
Akila.
Yeah, so I think from our perspective, I would say that the biggest next thing, and in which I feel affiliates have a great role to play, is in the data that you have about the consumer, right? And using that data to sort of work on a mobile engagement model for the brand that you're working for. And I think data is not just audience, right? Today, audience is just a segment. I think how close can you get to an n equal to 1 is where the next play is.
Sandeep? Yeah, we can take any.
Okay, we've been talking about data, fantastic, geo-targeting, absolutely. Another model which people should look at is, even today, the things which are closest to everybody is you love to talk. And my team can tell me that for sure. Mobile users talk a lot. Who they call, what companies they call, is a very important source of data. And, something that Flipkart has done recently is also about peer marketing. So what I am buying, and I can recommend it to my friends, this exact same product. And how can I be incentivized? I just bought an apartment in Bangalore a few months back, and the guy who referred to me was a cousin of mine who bought it, and he got a 1% commission on the flat that I bought. So that was the recommendation model. Now that's going to be a model which is going to help, because, everybody who's shopping currently or doing anything on the net which is leading to e-commerce, I would still categorize them as early adopters, right? Maybe not, but still early adopters. If we have a billion phones in the country and we have only X million of actual internet shoppers, we would call them early adopters. Now these are the guys who can recommend to their friends and their family to buy the same product. Now peer marketing or peer recommendation is something which will definitely emerge over a period of time. I'm not saying that's the current one. The current one are some different models, but over a period of time, I know if my friend bought a particular shoe, that friend, if I bought a particular shoe, I know which of my friends would love that shoe, right? And I would let them know. That's going to be something that will work out.
Viraj, anything you would like to add?
I think it's all covered really, so nothing.
All right. So, audience, we have the last question to address, and then you can think about the following questions which you have to address. And I'm looking at Milind, and he's absolutely ready. Anyway, so coming to the last one, the role of affiliate network into the mobile app. So, Viraj, I think I will start this with you only, because you have a studio role of the affiliate into the mobile apps.
I don't know how that fits in, but yeah. I think it's again been covered earlier. The role of the affiliate right now is really to drive installs, because the whole objective is to drive CPI, whether it's 20,000 installs for a wildlife app or for a Flipkart or Amazon. It is installs, that's what the need of the day is. You want to be on top of the charts, you want to be one above your competitor, whatever the objective is. So that's what the affiliates are doing, the affiliate networks are doing. A lot of times it's, and I think that's where the business model is evolving to what Patrick mentioned. There'll be very soon KPIs attached to that. There'll be, the model I think would still be CPI, but there'll be a lot more KPIs attached. might not be as strict, but I think those KPIs will also evolve over a period of time, whether it's linked to sale, whether it's linked to visits, whatever those might be. And I think that's the direction it's sort of going to evolve in.
Anyone else would like to take this question on?
I think we started.
Yeah, started with that,
All
so
right.
I'm just.
So, thank you everyone. So let's take the audience view, what they would like to ask. Anyone, sir? Yeah. Can anyone give him the mic, please?
So, I have a completely contrary view to Sandeep, and I need to take that across, right? Essentially, when you talk of widgets, you're talking of mobile internet, predominantly, right? If I put a cookie, I can take a mobile widget on any handset at 2 KB on any device. I don't need to go into an aggregated app, A. B, this is a very short-term phenomenon, because if you follow the Moore's law, pricing of an iPhone 4 model which was launched in about 2012, which was at 44,000 bucks, today is available at 4,400 bucks eyeball. Same feature, same specification, right? So I see in India by 2019, 100% of phones being sold as smartphones, and Moore's law will have an impact. Your capacity problem will be solved for nuts completely. So whether it's a 5 MB, 50 MB, apps wouldn't have too much of a problem. The third problem, or the third point of view I have it is, as an investor in a company, I invest because I find value in consumers that I bring in my platform. So values of companies like Infibeam or Flipkart is because of the audiences that they own. That audience ownership demands own asset ownership. Such asset ownership cannot have widgets into aggregated platforms. So as a VC money, I will not put $1 if I am embedded into third party point of view. And last point is on an aggregated platform, which on a cookie or on a widget you can easily search on a device. In an aggregated platform, if I have to search an Infibeam, I will never be able to find it. So I will never ever put that across.
Great. Good. I mean, the more the contrary.
there is a debate.
And as I said, I asked Mr. Moderator, I asked you a point, and then only I comment.
It's a question.
There is another point of view.
It's in fact a question, and great question. You know, first point was the widget model, and I'll go to that later. The second part of your question was the VC needs assets. How many $1 billion was spent when only web was there? No, 1 second. Facebook didn't have an app when they were valued at a few $500 million. It was the Chrome or the internet browser. They didn't have assets. The customer would come to their site, right? So they didn't have an app. Businesses are valued based on what it does for its users, whether you have an app or you don't have an app, right? So I would disagree that VCs would only invest in companies who have apps on the phone. If people love a brand, they would go, like they said, they would download app, delete it when they use it, or they'll keep the app, or they'll go to the internet and go and shop. So VCs not investing in companies who don't have app, I disagree there. The widget businesses, do you want, for example, there are cab companies, right? There are cab companies and cab companies. Everybody needs an install. So will you have 5 installs? Eventually, that's what we want. We want 5 installs, maybe 1 stays, the best brand stays. Or would the brand say, okay, if a customer wants, he can just tap somewhere and go to my site and book a cab. Why would the businesses not allow, businesses allow, they pay for traffic, right? They pay for traffic. So if you're allowing traffic to somebody's site, they will pay you. Why does everybody need 1 million or 2 million downloads? Okay, because still you're not in the top 100, you don't get organic downloads also.
Can I answer that? And then I would rest my case.
Yeah, I think in the meanwhile, if someone would like to, then we will
First,
come
I
back.
did not say that app is the only asset. Okay? I said that VCs put money where assets are. I do not dispute that web worked. If you look at Facebook today, 95% of their apps, I mean 90%, 95% of your subscriber base or users is on mobile only, right? Mobile web has a uniqueness which is very sensitive to the network issues that every country has. So it would have an angle limited to it. If you have an aggregate affiliate networks, you and I have worked in telecom industry for a long time. As an advertiser at Airtel, you would always say, I want to have a 60%, 70%, 80% share of voice on a publisher app, where you would say competing operator should not advertise on it, right? You would go to an ESPN, a Cricinfo and all say, listen, if a competing operator is advertising, I don't even want to share a voice.
No.
It happens.
If you look at Cash Karo, if
I can complete.
Paytm, Flipkart, Amazon on the same site.
Let me just complete my point. So while I am in no way saying that widgets don't work, I am saying aggregated models where as my asset of a widget is coming on someone else's app is a model which will not work in an affiliate network. We could take it offline. We could take it offline.
I think you guys need a beer session.
Absolutely. We need to go to some watering hole and discuss it with
that. Anyone else has anything to ask? Yes. Kunal. Kunal, paid question to nahi hai?
You're not asking me, right?
You've made my sales targets very difficult. Thank you for that. We've all focused on the affiliates and how affiliates need to change their models and everything, but where the money comes in, nobody focuses on how innovations are happening over there. Sandeep very rightly pointed on how possibly Flipkart did that, the buddy sharing sort of thing. Nobody is currently addressing how payments are a big pain for all of us, why the conversion rates are so low at affiliates. So yeah, advertisers I think have a whole lot of data at their end wherein they need to dig into why some traffic from, say, some sources is not performing and why some other sources are performing. And another thing, applications over the next 3 years, the app install business will most likely die because your app, any user will keep only about say 30 or 40, 50 apps. About 80% of them come built in the mobile phone. How can your business be more integrated onto the OS? I would love affiliates and the advertisers to focus on how native can they become to the OS, and apps are not native to OS. They need to move towards that. Google now is a brilliant example. Siri on Apple is a brilliant example of how nativity is changing, how they are trying to address the whole search piece through Google now and Siri. Let advertisers and affiliates also come up with something that addresses that.
Kunal, sorry, can you just tell me in one single line what was the question?
It's not a question. It's about the whole.
Your view, right?
It's my view.
Yeah, I was doing my job. Is there a question coming in?
No.
Anyway, anyone else to?
And that was not a paid agreement.
Yeah, excuse me.
I know that wasn't a question, but I have an answer. Is that okay? I would say I like the point you brought up that everybody needs to be focusing on something kind of unique and different. And I think if everyone keeps going after the same market, the same kind of advertising, doing things the way that everybody else does it today, then everybody's going to fail. We've seen tons of clients build some really cool products on top of our technology. They're using not even just the tracking platform, they're taking the API, they're building unique items. I would say one of the cool things is the Tyru One, the new basically tool they built on top of our technology, the API, where it's basically an exchange, you can put your app on there and it's going to start ranking it. And in order to be competitive and to be positioned for the future, you have to be thinking about what's going to be coming out, whether it is something more of a native operating system, if it's going to be the death of Facebook the app or something else, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, my name is Jaydeep. I have two very small layman questions. One, I download an app on my mobile and I immediately delete it after successful downloading. Does it get counted in the successful downloads? I mean, number of downloads? Yes, no?
Yes, it is open.
Yes.
Yes. But
Then,
at the same time, there is a different metric called number of app uninstalls. So there also it is going to be counted that I will know today 100 installs were there and 60 uninstalls were there. So net
right.
increment was only 40.
All right. And second question is, I download an app which is, say, cab booking. So I download 3 cab booking apps. I use only one. And other 2 I don't use, but I don't uninstall also. How does it add value to the business? The other 2 apps which I downloaded.
Viraj, over to you. This is your favorite part. It's our business, right?
It gives you options, right? You are stuck in a traffic jam somewhere, desperate to get somewhere.
One
You're not
day.
finding a cab, and you got to get somewhere really in a hurry. You're hungry. You need to go to the loo. I mean, that's when it comes into use.
Some fine day.
I mean, that's to go to wherever you need to get to.
Now don't start a new business model.
I'm guessing that's the only time when it will probably come to use.
All right.
There is an app called Locator.
You know what happens? Let's say I have Uber app and some XYZ app. Okay, so mostly user behavior changes based on the price. So users are price sensitive. So let's say it's raining heavily in Mumbai. Okay, so Uber price goes 5x, 6x, 7x. Then you recall which are the other app who can provide me the cost-effective cab.
He is creating a business opportunity for himself, for sure. All right. Thank you, audience. I think we are too late. And thank you, everyone. And thank you, panelists, to join us.
Thank you so much. Okay, let's have a huge round of applause one more time for our final panel members. And I'm going to request you all to please come together for a group photograph as well. Okay, and on that note, it's also time for us to, yes, let's have the mic on. Let's have all the panel members together for a group photograph, please. Everybody together. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we also come to the end of the India Affiliate Summit. Thank you so much for being part of the first edition, and we look forward to having you back in the second edition. We hope you've had fabulous takeaways. You can now attack all our speakers for your next set of queries. Thank you so much.